Assalamualaikum and good evening. We are from Group 1. Our group has chosen Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Istiadat Kelantan, or known as Maik, to identify the preparation of financial reporting according to this accounting standard of Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf. Maik was originally established on 24 December 1915 through a declaration by KDYMM Sultan Muhammad IV. Maik was announced in front of Kelantan people during the time in a glorious ceremony in the old Kota Baru Land Office. While, up until today, Maik is still led by the KDYMM Al-Sultan with the head of Ashura Consist, the member of Consist, and also the congregations of scholars. The establishment of Maik is to advise KDYMM Al-Sultan about the Islamic religious affairs and also the Malay customs of Kelantan. It is also to maintain and keep an eye to the Islamic religious affairs in Kelantan and also provide welfare services to all Muslim in Kelantan. However, the main reason of the Maik establishment is to manage zakat money, Baitulmal and Khairat. Up until today, Maik is still handling and taking a good care of Kelantan's people wealth, such as the management of zakat money, Baitulmal and Khairat.
Thanks, Lisa. Next, I will explain the standard used by Maik in the preparation of their financial statement. Commonly known that companies incorporated in Malaysia must produce statutory financial statement in compliance with MASB. MASB is an authorized accounting standard which are divided into three types. The first one is MFRS, which are recognized accounting standard for organizations other than private entities. Afterward, the MASB approved private entity reporting standard PERS, and finally, the Malaysian Private Entity Reporting Standard MPERS. MPERS were utilized as the primary guideline by most SIRC in Malaysia. However, some SIRCs referred to their own financial management manuals. From the disclosure in the Majlis Agama Islam Kelantan Maik financial statement in 2018 and 2019, it shows that Maik implement Malaysian Private Entity Reporting Standard MPERS and following the enactment Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Istiadat Melayu Kelantan. Under MPERS, an entity shall recognize an asset in the statement of financial position when it is probable that the future economic benefit will flow to the entity and the asset has a cost or value that can be measured reliably. Meanwhile, for liabilities, it will be recognized at the end of the reporting period as a result of a previous transaction. An organization must measure asset and liabilities at historical costs when they are first recognized. Meanwhile, an entity must recognize expenditure if there are reduction in asset and rise of liability, which is evaluated reliably. Then I will pass to Hakimah for the next point.
Thank you, Afifa. For my part, I will explain the relationship between the annual report of Maik 2018-2019 and the Islamic Accounting Standard for Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf 2020. Generally, the Islamic Accounting Standard for Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf be created under Accountant General's Department of Malaysia, collaboration with many Islamic departments in Malaysia, according to the Sharia as the guide for the institution that related to the Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf. This standard is made according with the requirements of property care within the framework of Sharia, maqasid for transaction reporting, to make sure the report must be accountable and useful of the goals, perfection, justice and success. Comparing the Islamic Accounting Standard for Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf with the annual report of Maik, the financial reporting comes out along with the standard. The information on segregation of asset, liability and revenue, including the expenses, are evaluated fairly. In the qualitative characters and presentation, Maik follows almost entire those characters and components outlined under Islamic Accounting Standard for Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf 2020. However, along all the reporting in Maik, there is still information that was not unclearly stated between the claims in untouched standard of Baitulmal, Zakat and Wakaf collection that can be distributed and comparison between the current year and the year before. The information must be reflects and honest with the truthfulness of the financial position. All the outline that are highlighted need to be followed to give the trusted information to the user by having a clear presentation to make sure user easy to understand.
Thank you, Hakimah. So let me explain about the presentation and disclosure of financial statement practice by SIRC, which is Maik. Post-state statutes governing the administration of Islam require the SIRC to adhere to the statutory bodies Act 1980. A private firm must adhere to either MPRS or MFRS in its totality for financial statements with annual periods commencing on or after 1 January 2016. Regarding Wakaf, Zakat and Baitulmal handled by an SIRC, roundtable participants said they would prefer to utilize MPRS after PERS departure in 2016. MPRS is better than MPSAS since the former is a comprehensive collection of standards, while the latter has not yet included all IPSAS. Maik is not open or responsible for financial accounts and audits since there is no statistical financial record published for Wakaf purpose in Kelantan. MPRS requires that an entity recognize an asset in its statements of financial position when it is foreseeable that the entity will receive future economic benefits. The degree of Wakaf, Zakat and Baitulmal disclosure given by Maik was determined in this research using the SORP recommend parameters. The information included in Maik's financial statements is pertinent for use as a criterion or decision-making that may affect economic and social choices via the ability to appraise the past, present and future. Despite the growth in wealth, the Wakaf, Zakat and Baitulmal institutions have not grown in lockstep. By contrast, the public has limited access to financial and non-financial information on the Wakaf activities of SIRCs.